Have you ever noticed how some men slowly stop feeling like themselves? The confidence they once had begins fading. Their motivation disappears. Social interactions start feeling exhausting, and over time, they become quieter, less driven, less certain of who they are. But what if this change isn't entirely psychological? What if something biological is quietly influencing the mind itself? The hidden misunderstanding. Most people think testosterone only affects one thing: the body, muscle growth, physical strength, masculinity. But very few people realize something important. Testosterone doesn't only influence the body. It may also quietly influence the brain itself. And because of that, changes in testosterone levels can sometimes affect far more than people imagine. When motivation begins disappearing. Inside the brain, testosterone interacts with systems connected to reward, motivation, and drive. And when levels begin dropping, some men may begin noticing something strange. The urge to take action starts becoming weaker. Goals begin feeling heavier. Things that once felt exciting begin feeling mentally exhausting. And slowly, discipline becomes harder to maintain, not because the person suddenly became lazy, but because the mind itself may no longer be responding the same way. Emotional changes nobody notices. Sometimes the problem isn't sadness. It's something far harder to explain: emotional dullness. The excitement once felt toward life begins fading. Small tasks feel mentally heavier. Stress feels more difficult to handle. And sometimes, there is a strange sense of mental exhaustion. Without understanding why, the person feels different, but cannot explain what exactly changed. Social behavior starts changing. And when internal energy changes, behavior often changes too. Confidence in conversations may weaken. The willingness to take initiative begins fading. The person who once acted decisively may begin hesitating more often. Social situations start feeling different, not because personality changed overnight, but because the internal systems driving behavior may no longer feel the same. And slowly the outside world begins noticing changes before the person notices them himself. The dangerous misunderstanding. This is where things become dangerous. Because most men never question biology. Instead, they blame themselves. They think they've become lazy, undisciplined, weak somehow. They assume they are simply losing confidence, or becoming mentally weaker than before, without realizing that invisible biological changes may quietly be affecting how they experience life itself. Human behavior is far more complicated than most people realize. Sometimes what appears to be personality, confidence, motivation, or emotional strength may be influenced by forces we rarely notice. And sometimes, understanding yourself begins by understanding the silent things that shape the mind behind the scenes. Because the human mind is never as simple as it seems. That is why it is important for a man to go into deep self-analysis sometimes, even if there is nothing wrong with him. That's there where you find yourself and can have a conversation with yourself. Because to understand your body, first you've to conquer your inner self. You have to understand that the physical or biological limitations are not enough to hold a man back. What are your thoughts on this? Please let me know in comments. Thanks for watching.